Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MDs Baseball Podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. This is our 49th episode. If you guys been listening to the MDs, if it's your first time, we just ask that, if you're watching on YouTube, you listen wherever you listen, that you subscribe, and if you have been listening and we've helped you at all and you enjoy the podcast, we ask you give us a little, 5-star rating, a little review. If you write a little review, it goes a long, long way. Hit the little bell underneath on YouTube, so alerts you every time that we drop a new video. Other than that, I'm your host Dominic Martino here with my co-host, my brother, my partner in crime. You know the routine here, Matthew Arne. Matt, how we doing today, brother? Looks like you got the clean shave going.
Yeah, it's that time of the year where I mess it up, and now I gotta wait for it to grow back in.
Yeah, it will be there by the time the podcast is over. He'll already have some stuff coming in.
Exactly. I've had this beard since I'm about 11, so it's one of those things. I was buying everybody beer in high school because not everybody else was like a child, and I'm like a man child.
Yeah, he used to get me jealous. Before I was able to grow a little bit of a beard, this guy would have a full beard within like 2 days, as he said, at like 11 years old. So he'll be back with a little nice 5 o'clock shadow by the end of the podcast.
I had chest hair before Dom even had a whisker.
That is the truth. That is the truth. But as for fantasy baseball, as always, we got a full action-packed episode today. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you stay through the whole episode today. I know a lot of names have gone down, especially big names. We got a lot of great ads today, and I'm not just saying that. I'm very, very truthful about it. A lot of young call-ups, hitting, pitching. Got a bunch of closers if you need saves. But as always, we're going to start with the finger on the pulse. And as we promised last time we spoke, sorry we missed you guys on Monday, by the way. My condolences to Matt and his family. They had a death in the family. So,
Thank you.
that's why we weren't able to be with you guys on Monday. As I said, Matt, my condolences to you and your family and everybody.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. But to keep things going here, as I said, finger on the pulse. We're gonna give you advice on how to win your league. On what to do heading into the playoffs and what to do once you make it there. Right. I know most leagues are wrapping up right now. If you aren't already in the playoffs, they should be starting next week, unless you got a commissioner that's a psychopath and he wants you to play all the way into the last week when nobody plays.
Or
But hey,
somebody I know that's mad unorganized.
yes, there is that as well. But all right, let's just get into it, right? So I want to start off with my first personal tip here, and it's make sure you pay attention on who you're matching up against in the playoffs, right? Because that's a big deal. Now we're not going on high upside anymore, or this guy is going to be good, 2 weeks, a month from now. No, you want to look at the team that you're facing and match up with them, right? Or try and see where you can get an advantage. Let's say they maybe have two closers. Maybe you want to on your team want to make sure you have three or four, so you can like try and guarantee yourself, a save, winning in saves. Another thing that you could do is just make sure that let's say they got a lot of guys that steal, right? And they're every week they're winning in steals. Try and get a little bit of power on your team because they're probably lacking in power then. So basically, what I'm trying to say there is look at who you're playing in the playoffs and adjust accordingly. Make sure that you're in a position where you could, get them where they're weak. Basically, what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah. Essentially, like Dom said, you gotta know your deal, know what's up, and then kind of focus on that. But also kind of now instead of just trying to manufacture a win or trying to manufacture a parent for the next week, you got to honestly just use all those moves. And if you're light on pitching,
Yeah.
you got to learn the strategy called pitching and ditching.
Yes, sir.
Um, it's probably one of the most helpful tools, especially if your team isn't really like a K guy, a K kind of team. So it's a quick way to rack them up. It has upsides and downsides to it. So the upside is you can use up all your moves and just have a one rotating spot where you can drop and add, drop and add, drop and add, and pick at least what your best options are based on the waiver wire for their matchups. But the downside is if they get hit up, your ERA can take a smack, and that may lose you the week.
Yeah.
But I mean, 9 out of 10 times, if you have a good core team and you just don't have a K team, that usually means you have a good ERA team. So you could probably take the hit if one guy gets lit up. You just got to be spot on. Listen to us for the matchups coming up, for best matchups coming in, because we're going to change the way we even address things now for the playoffs. Because this is now do or die. Your season's over the second you lose this time. You know, there's no holds bars. So, you know, you got to do all you can to manufacture a win each and every week.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna chime in with the pitching and ditching there, Matt. It's a wonderful strategy to use, but as Matt said, it could also be deadly to yourself. So do the research right now. Let's say you want to pick a guy up and he's been very, very good lately, right? But he's going up against the Dodgers this week. You don't want to do something like that. You know, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you could potentially wreck your ERA, wreck your WHIP, and sometimes if you think even the K's are going to be there, they might not. So do your research. A thing that I personally like to do a lot is if I'm going to pick a guy up, right? He's going up against one. Let's just say he's going up against Oakland, right? Well, I mean, Oakland's a bad team to begin with, but let's say he's going up against Oakland and he's a lefty. You want to go and look at the 2022 Oakland Athletic stats against lefties. See if they hit lefties good. If they don't hit lefties good, all right, then you're in the money, and that goes with not just any team. You want to check the lefty righty splits. You want to check if the team's been hot over the last 14 days. Stuff like that will really, really help you a long way in pitching and ditching. But let's move on a little bit to something else I wanted to talk about. In non, because we kind of focus a little bit on head-to-head categories league. We definitely lean that way. So if you're doing a traditional roto type of thing, right? Where it's not head-to-head and you're just going off of who has the best stats at the end of the year, you want to just check and see what stats you can actually make up, right? Let's say you're close once again. Let's say you're within striking distance in saves. Go out there and get you a couple more closers. Maybe drop a couple of starting pitchers. Let's say that home runs is something that you're very close in. Maybe get rid of some speed guys, get some more home run guys. Once again, it's just really knowing your league, knowing where you stand in your league, and adjust accordingly. And for points leagues, you just want to rack up on the points. Really, I mean, points
Pitching's the
leagues is
best way.
points leagues is points leagues. You just basically pitching and ditching is a great strategy for points leagues. If you can get a starting pitcher that has RP eligibility, you put them in the RP spot. You can rack up more points that way. Just little things like that to pay attention to. Matt, I don't know if you want to chime in there and add anything on that.
Yeah, I mean, pitching and ditching is going to be your best friend. It just depends on your system, on how your league's set up. If it's a daily setup, you're gold. If it's one of those set it, forget it for the weeks, the Sparps are the best way, which is I call Sparp. It's starting pitcher, really pitcher, eligibility. If it's every 3 days, pitch and ditch like a crazy person. Just pick it up, make sure you have it, look 3 days ahead, make sure somebody's always got to start and just smack them. Smack.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I hate those kind of leagues. If you're playing fantasy baseball, right, you have a daily. I know it's funny. And this is why I don't think fantasy baseball is popular. People don't like the constant movement, right? But at the same time, like you watch somebody that's a crack team for fantasy football, for instance, I'm looking at it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I don't have a matchup till Thursday. It just makes no sense. So
that's the truth, though.
It just scratches the itch every single day. So it's great. So if you're not doing that, you should really, really, really reconsider your league. But anyway, back to the advice part, I would definitely just hit that and pitch and ditch in points leagues. That's the most valuable position. Like honestly, like when I'm in points leagues, my method is I do my roto rankings, and then that's a very, very, very balanced based off of my team construction. But for points, if the pitcher's ranked in my top overall, that tier is just like boom, it's even higher. I prioritize that over one because a pitcher can give you 100 points in a week, whereas like a batter, I feel like if they give you 75 unless they're going off stealing like 55 bases in a week. So
yeah, I fully agree with you on everything there. So let's get into my little last thing here as far as league winning tips and strategies, right? Two things that kind of go hand in hand here, right? Cut the dead weight at this point. If you haven't already done that, really take a hard look at your team, right? Because as Matt kind of said in our last thing there, if you're not looking at your team every single day, you might just like have a name there and be like, oh, this guy is a name, he's been great. No, sometimes that isn't the case. You really want to make sure that all of the guys on your team are doing what they're supposed to do at this point in the year. Because if they aren't, just let them go, cut the dead weight. And then what it goes hand in hand with is make sure you add the hot bats going into the playoffs because it's week to week at this point, guys. Once again, talking about mainly head-to-head categories leagues. Even in points league, there's points leagues, this applies too. Maybe not so much in in a full blown roto, not non head to head roto. But yeah, going into the playoffs, I'll give you for instance, like last year, Tyler O'Neill was lighting it up before he really, really blew up. Going into the playoffs, he was available a lot of my leagues. I picked him up, and he helped me win a few leagues last year. You want to pick up guys like that and get rid of the dead weight. I've been seeing people drop a lot of big names recently over the past week or two, getting ready for the playoffs and saying, screw it, I'm just going to go with the guys that are hot right now. And that is a very, very good strategy right now. As I like to say, juice the orange. This is literally the best time to do that. Pick them up for a week. If they help you win that week, great. If they're cooling down, let them go and pick up the next hot guy. Because literally at this point, it's week to week. It's week to week, guys. It's not at the point where you want to sit back and say, oh, he's gonna heat up, he's gonna get it going. No, 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 no. Get the hot hands, juice that orange, and just keep it rolling at this point, guys. Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Amen to that. You couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you very much, my brother. Anything you want to chime in and add, or you want to hit the news and notes? Oh, actually, I do have one more thing, guys. I do have one more thing here as I check my little notes here. So we talked about league winning strategies and what to do, if you're in contention, right? Let's give the guys that aren't in contention a little love too, right? If you're done for this year in this redraft leagues, nothing we could do for you guys. Redraft, that is what it is. You're done for this year. You got to look forward to next year. But if you're in a keeper dynasty league, right, and you're already done, you know that you're out, this is what I would say to do. And I've seen a lot of people do this in leagues that I'm into, very competitive leagues. Get ready for next year in keepers and dynasties. Get rid of anyone that you're not keeping for next year in a keeper league. And I'm gonna throw out a few names here of young players that I would potentially add. If you're really struggling to find a keeper, maybe your league keeps 8 and you only got 6. I'm going to throw out a couple names here, right? A couple of young kids that might be available in your leagues. Grayson Rodriguez, starting pitcher for the Orioles. He's getting ready, he's building up for next year. He was the number 1 pitching prospect, heading into this year. I think he still might be the number 1 pitching prospects in a lot of circles. So if he's out there in your leagues and you need a keeper, definitely would consider him. Another starting pitcher, Yuri Perez, for the Miami Marlins. Guy, if you haven't heard about him yet, he's dominant. I even like him over Max Meyer at this point because Max Meyer's got bad phalanges, man. He's been banged up all year, and I forget. Max, did he get Tommy John or UCL, something like that? I know he got Max Meyer went out there. Yeah, he's got TJ, so he's going to be out a while. So number 1 pitching prospect for the Miami Marlins, Yuri Perez. Another starting pitcher, Daniel Espino. I believe he's still a little bit banged up, but when he pitches, man, he's absolutely great. He's a Cleveland Guardians pitcher. Once again, Daniel Espino. Make sure you consider him as well. Then I got a couple of bats here for you. I got Anthony Volpe from the New York Yankees. Very young, talented hitter. I could see him possibly making the Yankees lineup next year. Once again, that's
he might even get the cup of coffee. He might even get the cup of coffee.
Possible.
I mean,
he just might.
It's that time of the year.
He just might, but if not, you could definitely consider Anthony Volpe for next year. Very talented young hitter for the Yankees. He's definitely going to get a shot next year. Then I like James Wood from the Washington Nationals. I believe he went over there in the Juan Soto trade. He's a big man. He got a lot of Aaron Judge comps. I believe he's 6'7". He just mashes the ball, hits it very hard, good exit velocity. In the O'Neill Cruz type of guy. Once again, that's James Wood, outfielder for the Washington Nationals. And let's finish it up here with Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals. Man, another top prospect, third and short. He's just again there's something in the water in St. Louis. They're very, very good with their prospects. Give Jordan Walker some consideration. And once again, that's if you're done for this year.
I got one more name.
Struggling to find. Oh, go ahead, my brother. Chime in.
He's not below, so it's fine. I'm not blowing any surprises. He just got the call today. Miguel Vargas. He's probably the best third base prospect up there. He's been mashing it all year. He's one of those names that we could be talking about next year, based off his performance. That he could be having a Bobby Witt light up this year and give you very high in the rankings because the kid is incredible. He steals, average, bombs, just everything. And he's on the Dodgers organization, so the counting stats can be limitless. So, and he already translated. He played 3-4 games and did his thing. Got a hit in every game.
Something like that, yeah.
Got a hit in every game. Got a bomb. Got a bunch of ribbies. Like the kid's good. He's really good, and it's hard to see these prospects come up and if they actually even translate one from the jump. It's very rare this season, and it looks like he's one of those people that have. And actually, somebody else just came in my mind. Royce Lewis. He's another
Yeah,
one.
that's another one. Yeah.
Scoop him up. He's a shortstop. I talked about him beginning of the year. I'm very
Minnesota
excited.
Twins.
Yep. Very excited. Hopefully Carlos Correa leaves and opens up that door because Carlos Correa sucks. Um, and we'll see what's up. I mean, personally, that kid is incredible. He translated instantly in his short time up.
Yeah, yeah. Even I like Royce Lewis a lot. I'm gonna agree with Matt on that one for sure. Miguel Vargas definitely worthy of consideration as well. So with that being said, guys, that's our advice to win your league, what to do in the playoffs, and if you're out, we're giving you advice on that too. So just take all of that into consideration and adjust your teams accordingly. Matt, you know the routine here. I'm going to go into the news and notes. If there's anything that you want to add, just cut me off, or if there's anything that you want to say as well, just chime in. We got a bunch of big injuries, guys, here. So it's kind of a little sad news time here. So we're gonna start off with Justin Verlander. He was placed on the 15-day IL with a calf injury. He underwent an MRI, which revealed fascial disruption, but no muscle disruption. So I mean, I guess they're saying that that's a good thing. I'm not a doctor, so I really don't know. But there's not necessarily a timetable for his return. I'm hearing some optimism that he might just miss the 2 weeks and that's it. But he's getting up there in age, guys, and I could totally see the Astros being very careful with Justin Verlander
He
and
don't
playing it
return.
safe. Yeah, playing it safe for the playoffs and having Justin get ready for that. So I wouldn't be holding my breath on him making a return anytime that's going to help you in fantasy.
Yeah.
Then we got Shane McClanahan. He was scratched from a start yesterday with a shoulder impingement. He's going to go for more testing today. I didn't see anything as in regards to the results for McClanahan's MRI. Shane himself said that he's optimistic. Once again, that's the player saying that. So, you don't know how much stock to put into that. But a shoulder issue with a guy, who's kind of pitched his career high in innings this year, Shane McClanahan, once again, I wouldn't hold my breath on him making it back either. Once again, he's going to be out at least 2 weeks. Then we got Yordan Alvarez. He's missed the last 3 games with a hand issue. They're saying Yordan is day to day for now.
I
So
saw a report he might be back Friday.
oh, there we go. So we might have Jordan back on Friday, guys. If you're playing that daily league, just try and keep an eye on him, right? Then we got
Hmm.
Clayton Kershaw. Good news. He will return from that back issue on Thursday. Today, when you guys are listening to this, actually, make sure you get him activated and in your lineups because we all know Mr. Kershaw is dominant when he's out there, even though he does have weak phalanges. Then we got another Dodgers pitcher here. Once again, just three of the top pitchers went down like it was nothing. So once again, Tony Gonsolin was placed on the 15-day IL with a forearm strain. The Dodgers, see, not him, not Tony himself, but the Dodgers said that it looks like it might be a minimum stay on the IL for him. But once again, I'm not holding my breath for anybody at this point in the year, especially when they go on the 15-day IL, which is at least 2 weeks, and there's 5, maybe 6 weeks left in all your leagues. So once again, don't hold your breath on Tony Gonsolin. Luis Robert is still out with that wrist issue from when he was sliding into second base last week and he jammed it up. He's day to day for now. He's missed the last 4 games. We'll keep you updated on Luis Robert. Got some bad news. Brandon Lau was placed on the 10-day IL due to an elbow contusion he suffered last week against the Red Sox. So, once again, not holding my breath on Brandon Lau. He's kind of been, in and out of the lineup too, as well, even when he was healthy recently. Then we got Nick Castellanos with a toe issue. He's missed the last 2 games. The Phillies are saying that Nick Castellanos is day to day for now, so we'll keep you updated on that one. Some good news here. Ozzy Albies with that fractured foot, he will begin a minor league rehab assignment when you guys are listening to this on Thursday. He could be back by next week, and I'm going to go out and say this. It's going to make a very, very interesting situation for the Braves with Vaughn Grissom, who's been lighting it up like crazy. I don't know if Vaughn is going to continue to play every day when Ozzy is back. They might split time. They might send Vaughn Grissom back down. So be prepared. I own Vaughn Grissom in a bunch of my leagues, so I'm prepared to make a move if I have to next week if he gets sent back down or if he's not playing every day. You want at this point in the season, you want to have guys that are playing every single day. So once Ozzy gets back up, if he's splitting time with Vaughn, I might look to move in another direction. Unless Vaughn keeps it going, man. If he just keeps hitting, they might have to find a way to keep him in that lineup. But we'll keep it going here with Jorge Polanco, knee issue. He's missed the last 3 games. The Twins are saying that Mr. Polanco is day to day for now. So just keep an eye on that. We'll keep you updated here on Mr. Polanco. Wilson Contreras got an ankle foot issue going on. He was removed from yesterday's game early. Wilson Contreras himself said that the ankle's been bothering him for a bit lately. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little 10-day IL stint to get that ankle better. So if you do have Wilson Contreras as a catcher, you might want to start thinking about where you're going to go as far as replacing him, because I'm not holding my breath on that one. An ankle issue for a guy that's catching where he's planting, bent down on that ankle. It's getting a lot of pressure every single day. I'm not holding my breath on that one. Then we got some good news here. Tyler Mahle for the Minnesota Twins got that shoulder issue. He's going to return to the Twins rotation on Saturday. So make sure you get Tyler Mahle active for this weekend. Then Nestor Cortez from the New York Yankees with that groin issue. He's been on the IL. He's going to throw a bullpen session today, which he might have already thrown. I kind of wrote these notes a little bit early in the day. That bullpen session might have been thrown already. Hopefully it went well. And if it did, he's scheduled to do some live batting practice on Saturday for Nestor Cortez. He could return to the Yankees rotation when he's first eligible next week against the Twins.
I doubt
Then
it.
we got Jameson Taillon. Yeah, that's a tough one. We'll see if that be if the bullpen session went good today, and BP goes good on Saturday. It could possibly happen, but we'll wait and see on that one. They're gonna need him back because Jameson Taillon took a comebacker off his forearm, and he was diagnosed with a forearm contusion. The Yankees are saying he's day to day for now, but on the pitching arm, it's all bruised up. He might not feel right, and it could totally be a little 10-day IL stint here for Mr. Taillon. And the Yankees pitching has been decimated at this point. Even the bullpen, is decimated for the Yankees. So they've signed a bunch of guys over the last few days to try and get that right. Nobody that has any fantasy relevance, but as a Yankee fan, it's not good, not good. Then we got Brett Baty, torn UCL on the thumb. He's
Such a
gonna go
shame.
for surgery. Yeah, he's out for the rest of the year. They're saying he might make it back for the real playoffs, but we wish Mr. Brett Baty well here on the MDs. The kid has a lot of upside. That's another name for keeper dynasty leagues if he's out there. Definitely look for him to have a big year next year.
Yeah, hopefully, it doesn't mess up his swing. That's the only thing that I'm fearful of. If you look at anybody
Yeah,
that's come back,
thumbstack's a lot of power.
right, and if you look at anybody that came back from a thumb injury, Freddie Freeman, who else was the other one I'm referring? I was thinking of,
Matt Olson a few years ago.
right. It took them a little time to figure it out. I mean, luckily, we're going to be talking about him more next season, but I'm going to be very intrigued. I'm going to be watching him very heavy to see how his swing is and how he's doing in spring training to make the decision because it could throw it completely off because it's like a brand new hand at that point.
Yeah, fully agree with you there, my brother. So with all that being said, guys, we're gonna move into the waiver wire segment. And oh boy, is this one action packed for you guys, man. We got a lot of big names here. So we're gonna start with the bats, and there's just 3 young kids that have 2 that have been called up just in the past couple of days. One that was called up maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I don't even know where to start. I guess I'm gonna go off the top. I'm gonna go with Mr. Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles, shortstop eligible on Yahoo. The kid's already got a home run. He's 1 for 3 tonight against Cleveland, and it was a monster shot. Accordingly, I didn't see it myself, but I saw people talking about it on Twitter, and apparently it was a monster shot. Gunnar Henderson is 26% owned. He's arguably the top prospect in all of baseball at this point, and he's up there with one of the next guys that we're going to talk about. But let's focus on Mr. Gunnar Henderson for a little bit right here, right? I believe he is 21 years old, so he's still a young pup. He's got the future ahead of him, and let's read you off some minor league stats here for Mr. Gunnar Henderson. So far this year, he's played 112 games. Mr. Gunnar Henderson has 407 at bats, 101 runs in 112 games. That's almost a run a game for Mr. Henderson. He's got 19 bombs, 76 RBIs, 22 steals. So Gunnar Henderson's almost a 2020 guy, and he's hitting 297. And as I said, in a lot of circles, he's arguably the number one prospect in all of baseball right now. Must add, possibly a league winner. To be honest with you, I truly think that the kid's got a tremendous upside. So if Gunnar Henderson's out there in your league, not much I could truly more say about him, except he's 26% owned in Yahoo. go pick up Gunnar Henderson right now. Pause the podcast, and if you need a shortstop, he's also going to get that third base eligibility because that's where he's actually playing for Baltimore. And Baltimore's been great. They're a hot team right now. They're probably going to make the playoffs. So that's why they called Gunnar Henderson up to make this push. So once again, just pause the podcast if you need a shortstop. If you need any infield help, if you need third base help, go pick Gunnar Henderson up.
Yeah, no, he's definitely gonna be worth it in every single which way. Um, but I think you pretty much covered Gunner. He's a stud. Let's move on to somebody I really like, and that's
Yeah.
Nick Pratto taking over for the Italian Breakfast. Um, he's
Yes,
got that
sir.
first and outfield eligibility, about 4% owned right now. That's Nick Pratto. Nick's killing it. This last week was absolutely monstrous. Nick hits 6 runs, 3 bombs, 10 ribbies, batting 471. How you doing? Um, he looks like he's ready.
Parsing the ball.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes. He's a ride the wave kind of situation. We'll see what he actually can do. I actually don't have too much experience outside of me looking at what he's been doing. He has 76 total at bats on the year, so he's fairly new. Looks like he had a slow start because his average on the year, I mean on the month is a 197, but I feel like he finally catching the stride. It is hard to just come up and just start smacking the ball from coming up from the minors. So I think that he finally figured it out. Let's see what happens. Let's ride that wave. Let's manufacture those wins. Let's win some championships.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to chime in with Mr. Nick Prado here. And the thing that really made me throw him on this list is that he went 4 for 5 yesterday on August 30th. And he hit 2 home runs off Lucas Giolito. I mean, everyone's hitting home runs off Lucas Giolito. So, nothing too crazy impressive there. But, I mean, the 4 for 5 with the 2 bombs, 3 runs, 3 RBIs for Nick Prado on August 30th. And then on August 26th, Prado also went 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. And, as we've been saying, it's tough for these prospects to really, get it going as when they first get called up against big league pitching because the difference between AAA and the majors is huge. It's like, I don't even know if we personally grasp how big it is, but it's apparently it's a huge jump. I've heard it from multiple players and coaches and everyone, says it's a very hard transition. So, Prado finally looks like he's starting to live up to the hype. He's a big power guy. I'm going to give you his Nick Prado stats from 2021 across AAA and AA. It was 125 games for Prado, 445 at bats, 98 runs, 28 doubles, 7 triples, 36 home runs, 98 RBIs, 12 steals, and he 265. So I'll tell you this, he might be in like a Franmil Reyes or even how Vinny P, the Italian Breakfast, when he really got it going before he got hurt, that power starts to click for the power guys, right? So yeah, I'll tell you this, he might not be a huge batting average guy. He might hit 240, 250 the rest of the way. But I think there's a lot of pop in Prado's bat. There's a lot of opportunity there in KC. Nick Prado's 4% owned on Yahoo right now. So I would, if you need that help at first base and outfield, I would definitely give Nick Prado a look. So with that being said, let's move on to our next young stud here. And it's somebody that I grabbed in a bunch of my leagues. That's Corbin Carroll. I think this kid, once again, in the same breath as Gunnar Henderson, just a world of upside for the kid, and so far in Corbin Carroll's short MLB career, he's 3 for 10 hitting 300, 4 runs, no bombs, 5 RBIs, and that's in 2 games. In 2 games, Corbin Carroll already has 4 runs and 5 RBIs. Where is he hitting? He's been hitting 6th lately, so I could see him moving up that Arizona Diamondbacks batting order very quickly because they don't really have much going on for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Corbin Carroll's hitting 3rd for them next week. Mr. Carroll is 48% owned on Yahoo, and that is rising like crazy because I think the last time I checked it was like 35, so it's jumped up a bunch lately. Let me see if I can get you Corbin Carroll's minor league stats here for the year because they look just as good as Gunnar Henderson's, if not even a little bit better. Here we go. So in the minors this year across AA, AAA, and rookie ball, Corbin Carroll has played 93 games, 362 at bats, 89 runs, 22 doubles, 8 triples, 24 bombs, 62 RBIs, and 31 steals. And he hit 307. So, and he's done nothing but light it up. And then 2021, he hit 435. In 2019, he hit 299. So, I mean, he's always been a batting average guy. I'll say this, the first things that translate in the bigs is usually speed. So, he stole 30, Corbin Carroll stole 31 bases in the minors this year. So, that speed's going to be there. It looks like the batting average will be there too for Mr. Carroll. He's always been a batting average guy. And so far in the bigs, he's hitting 300. Small, very, very small sample size. So, take that with, a grain of salt. But I think Corbin Carroll and Gunnar Henderson are 1A, 1B. You could I would really say it's more about what position you need, right? Corbin Carroll's an outfielder. Gunnar Henderson is infielder, short and third. So it's really more of what your team needs, where you're weak at, right? That's how I would decide who I'm going to pick up. Gunnar Henderson is more available than Corbin Carroll on Yahoo right now, and it's by 20%. So if it's only Gunnar Henderson's available, obviously you take that route. But if they're both there right now for you, I would kind of see what I need a little bit more position wise, because they're very similar, power speed combos with batting average for both of those young studs. And I would kind of just, play it that way. But once again, it's a pause the podcast. Go pick Corbin Carroll up if you need an outfielder right now.
Yep. I think you covered him pretty much well.
Yeah,
I'm going to move on to the last prospect. It's just a prospect ed episode this week, guys, for bats. That's going to be Yanier Diaz. He's the catcher for the Houston Astros, just got promoted, and these stats in the minors are absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if anybody's ready for this. Okay. I'm not saying go and run and go pick him up, but I mean, this is just astronomical. Okay. So his slash line is 306, 356, 542, 25 bombs this year, 25 between double and triple A with a 995 OPS. This is just absolutely monstrous. This 23-year-old is coming into a lineup with an opportunity to get some playing time with a very, very good bats around him, where he's just going to be able to swing that ball. And if he friggin' translates, this could be some serious production from your catching position. Not for nothing, this sounds a lot like Gary Sanchez when he got called up. That power bat that was catcher is supposed to be this cheat code coming from the catcher position. This could be a cheat code. So, I mean, he's worth the stash, especially if you're one of those guys that just loves Contreras. He may be a nice option. I don't know what his daily play, if he's going to get daily play time. That's the only question right now. But I mean, shoot, he's playing all weekend just to, see what he's got. Pick him up. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'll chime in, Matt. And this is just a kid who's raked all through his minor league career since 18 years old. Mr.
Yadier Diaz.
Yeah, Mr. Diaz has just absolutely raked. As Matt mentioned, the kid absolutely gets it done. I will say this though, I'm truly not sure how much he's going to play though. That's the big thing here. They went and they traded for Christian Vasquez, and they have Martin Maldonado as well, who's actually surprisingly had a pretty good year. So I'm surprised that Houston's actually calling him up, to be honest. But rosters do expand, and it's always good to have another catcher, aboard. I'll say this: it's a name that you might want to keep more in store for next year. But if you're in those deep leagues, Mr. Yanier Diaz is 4% owned on Yahoo. You just go out there and you give him the chance, because the kid's absolutely a stud. He's raked all across the minor leagues. And Matt read you off his stats for this year, which are absolutely dominant. I love that 306 batting average with the power, big RBI total. So you know what? If Houston does decide to let him play every single day, or at least maybe 3-4 times a week, your two catcher leagues, he's going to be very useful. And like we said, if you lost Wilson Contreras, or if your catcher is just absolutely putrid, which is the case for some people in those 15-man leagues, you give this kid a chance once he gets the call, and just see where it goes from there.
Yep, even two catcher leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we need to move. Yep. So we're going to move on to our arms here, and we're going to talk about another prospect.
And that's the prospect episode, guys.
Yep. And this guy, unfortunately, was shipped off to the A's, and that's Ken Waldichuk in the trade for Mr. Montas. He has just been out. He's just been absolutely lights out. The guy just throws absolute gas. His stats on the year right now is a 2.84 ERA, a 1.16 WHIP. Am I reading this right? 137 Ks.
Strikeouts,
yeah, 137. Yeah, it's just absolutely bananas. When you get a guy like this that's performing at this kind of level at the AAA, You know, at this point, you want to see what he's got. So I ran and I scooped him up, and I am super excited to see what he can do. This kid has all the upside in the world. I mean, he kind of like, how do I put this? He's going to be pitching in Oakland, and he's going to be like the same kind of prospects, in my opinion, as like a Michael Kopech, who is, in my opinion, having a decent season this year. This year, Ken Waldichuk. Next year, Waldichuk can be looked at as Kopech, because the only thing that was Kopech isn't like this big tier dude is he just had some injury issues. If Waldichuk can hold it together into next season, and he's going to be somebody we're going to be talking about as somebody that you're going to want to have next year. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, man. I'm a huge Ken Waldichuk fan. I know I was telling everybody, in the trading deadline episode to keep an eye on the kid because, as you mentioned, he has all the upside in the world. And I know you read off Waldichuk's 2022 stats. Let's go even back a year. Let's go back to Waldichuk's 2021, right? In the minors, Waldichuk threw 110 innings in 2021, 163 strikeouts in 110 innings. So the guy just strikes everybody in the world out. Kind of, you went with the Kopech comp. I'm actually, and this might be a little, bullish, but I kind of the stats remind me kind of a little bit of Shane McClanahan in the striking everybody out in the minors. The whip is a little not even that high at the 115 in 2022 and 2021. So that's a pretty solid whip. But if they can get that control, going there, in the same sense of McClanahan, when he first got the call, he was a little struggling with that control. I believe he had like a 1-2 something whip in his rookie year. And then look at him this year, so maybe, a Waldichuk comes up and the control is the thing that's holding him back from being truly, truly dominant. But I think Waldichuk comes up and he strikes out a lot of guys. I think he suppresses runs, especially pitching in the Oakland Coliseum there. He actually gets the Washington Nationals in his first start. When you guys are listening to this, it's going to be today. So if you play in a league that lets you get those daily pickups and the transaction actually goes through that day, I know there's a lot of leagues like that. You still have the chance to get that start in. If not, Mr. Waldichuk, it looks like he might line up against the Braves in the second start, which isn't great, but at least it's home again, home in Oakland for Mr. Waldichuk, next week. He's 11% owned on Yahoo. So once again, guys, pretty big prospect here, getting the call up, and you give Ken Waldichuk a shot in your rotation, and you see where it goes, right? So let's move on to our next guy here. Let's go with an actual New York Yankee, somebody that we've told you to pick up a bunch of times this year. That's Domingo Germán, right? I should have worn my Domingo Germán jersey. I totally missed the chance on that one. But Mr. Germán has kind of got it rolling here, recently. His first start was against Houston, and he got rocked. But since then, man, he's only had one. Domingo's only had one bad start, and that was against Tampa Bay, who kind of is a tricky team to deal with. But on the year, Mr. Germán's pitched 42 innings, 31 strikeouts, 2 wins, 3.19 ERA, and a 1.11 WHIP. So he's been very, very good. As I said, since getting rocked in his first outing, he does unfortunately get Tampa Bay again this weekend. So I mean, you kind of gotta start him at this point because pitch him if you got him. Going into the playoffs, you kind of want to get everything you can. But Mr. Germán's available in a lot of leagues. He's only 36% owned on Yahoo. He's a little bit older, but he doesn't have a lot of innings on his arm. So, I like that. Means that he could, potentially be a little bit healthier than some of these other guys. And lastly, about Mr. Germán, I would just say this. He's probably going to be in the rotation for, the rest of the year with all the injuries that Yankees have there, with Taillon going down, with Nasty Nestor going down. So it looks like Domingo's got his spot secured. I would give him the end and just see what the future holds for the kid. It looks like next week he'll line up against the Twins, so that's not that's a pretty good matchup for Domingo Germán.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he can keep his hands to himself, he'll pretty much play. Um,
That was good. I like that. That was good.
just watch them hands, man. But yeah, he's a good ad. He's somebody that could be somebody solid down the stretch. We'll see what happens. I mean, definitely a good matchup next week. Definitely worth it. But let's move on from him to somebody I really like, and it's Mr. Cole Irving.
Oh Lord, this guy is just Matt. You call. I'm going to give you a big credit on that one. You were really touting him. I think it was the trade deadline episode. You were really touting Cole Irvin.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to get moved, but I mean, you can't hate a pitcher that pitches in Oakland. So, Cole Irving has just been stellar. He's going to have Baltimore coming up, so I think it's another good matchup. and he's only 50% owned, which is friggin' bananas.
Crazy.
If,
But Matt, read off his stats because why has this guy only 50% owned? It's crazy to me.
which is yeah, and I mean yeah, he's not really a K guy, but which is fine. But just the stats are just crazy. 7 wins, 104 Ks, 3.35 ERA. Let me repeat that: 3.35 ERA with a 106 WHIP and 147 innings. Okay, he's not a K guy, but 3.35 on the season. That is something to note. You don't get that off the waivers. That's better than
Yeah.
my. If you
Yeah.
got good batting average on the waivers, you pick it up. He's got a 3.35 ERA. Pick him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, he's been getting hit a little bit recently, but I mean, the Baltimore matchup I think is going to be great for him. And you know what? If you were smart enough to scoop him up yesterday, it's probably a 2-start week this week. So how you doing?
Yeah, Matt. I mean, Cole Irving should just be universally owned at this point. As Matt said, 3 of his last 4 starts weren't very good, but the one that was good was a 7 inning, 11 strikeout, no earned run, 0.43 WHIP against Miami. I know it's Miami, but still, you still got to go out there and pitch the game, right?
Yep.
Because I've seen Miami hit a couple of guys recently, but with Cole Irving, the thing is that just go out there and add him, guys, because the numbers on the year speak for themselves. Maybe he's slowing down a little bit because I'm just probably one of his deepest that he's gone into a season in his career. But I think Cole Irving needs to be universally owned at this point. Matt read you off the stats. There's not really too much more I can add here, except he pitches in Oakland. It's his home park. He's going to get a lot of good matchups there, and with that being said, let's kind of move on to our next guy here. And I'm going to go David Peterson of the New York Mets, and somebody that's recently found his way back into the rotation. I will throw out this caveat. I think Carlos Carrasco is on his way back. So I don't know if David Peterson sticks in the rotation, but he definitely should. Look at his last outing. On August 27th, he went 6 innings, got the win, 7 strikeouts, no earned with a 0.67 WHIP against Colorado. I know Colorado's not one of the best teams in the league, but listen to these numbers on the year for Mr. David Peterson: 89 innings, 7 wins, 104 strikeouts. Yeah, 104 strikeouts, 89 innings, a 3.21 ERA and a 1.28 WHIP. The WHIP's a little high, but if we need someone that's going to suppress runs, he's on a great team. He's going to win games. Once again, David Peterson here is who we're talking about, and he's a big strikeout guy. David Peterson's only 25% owned on Yahoo, and it looks like he's going to line up with the Nationals this weekend if they do give him the start. Once again, nothing's guaranteed here with Carrasco coming back, but if David Peterson gets the start this weekend against the Nationals, you're going to want to add him and see where it goes, because it looks like he might even line up for Pittsburgh next week after that. So, it just looks like he's got a lot of good matchups ahead of him. David Peterson has shown that he can strike out a lot of guys this year, and he's widely available. David Peterson's available in 75% of Yahoo leagues. I would definitely give him the shot, with the caveat if he is definitely lined up to pitch this weekend. So, you yourselves, we're giving you the name here with this guy. You yourself are going to have to monitor if David Peterson is going to get the start here this weekend. If he does, 100% worth the pickup.
Yeah, David Peterson's somebody that I hope they can get a rotation spot next year, because
Yeah, would love to see that.
he'd be in my top 50 just based off of how he performed. Like, and that,
100% agree with you.
yeah, and he has upside to be a top 25 pitcher. Just the kid's an animal. So that's what I could say, and that's my opinion of the kid, just off the cuff.
Hold
But
on, Matt. Let's see if I could give the fans some little next year preview, because I have my 2023 starting pitcher rankings.
Tom has already started. He's a nut job.
Let's see. I just want to see if I might have missed David Peterson, but I do want to see if I threw him in. All right, guys. So I'm sorry, I haven't thrown David Peterson in yet, but let's play the game. Where is Dom going to put him real quick? All right. So I'm going to tell you, I have George Kirby at 49. I have Edward Cabrera at 50. And I have Andrew Heaney at 51. I think he belongs a little bit under those guys. I have Jordan Montgomery at 56, so I might slot David Peterson right under Jordan Montgomery, and he would be right over Lucas Giolito, who I actually have at 57th going into next year, believe it or not. So that's where I would kind of slot him. He'd probably be right around 60 if I had to tell you where I put David Peterson for next year.
Damn, you holding a grudge against Giolito, but we'll fight
Oh
that next
yeah.
year.
Oh yeah, dude. If I'll say this, so if I could do a quick Lucas Giolito hate rant because I'm absolutely done with the guy. Let's do this real quick. Let's see how bad Lucas Giolito's actually been this year. And this is a whole year, guys. He missed a little bit of time at the beginning of the year, but he's pitched almost a full year, right? So Lucas Giolito, 128 innings, 10 wins. I don't know how he's managed 10 wins. 142 strikeouts, 5.27 ERA and a 1.50 whip for Lucas Giolito. And he's given up more home runs than Aaron Judge has hit this year. And I know that's not accurate, but that's basically what's going on. The guy's just giving up home runs all day and all night. Something's wrong with Lucas Giolito. Maybe he can figure it out in the offseason. If he does, if he looks good in spring training next year, maybe my tune will change. But guys, if you have Lucas Giolito and keeper a dynasty, it's time to really think about what you're going to do with him going forward. Because I'll tell you this, I've seen a lot of stuff on him, and apparently the big thing is that the sticky stuff is gone, and they have like his numbers from this after the sticky stuff ban. He's been garbage since after that. He's been literally garbage since after they banned the sticky stuff. So I mean, just that's just a hate rant there on Lucas Giolito. I'm sorry, I just had to get that off my chest because I'm done with him.
And there's this thing called Elmer's glue. Let's go buy that.
He needs something, man. He needs something because a guy that went from a consensus top 10 starting pitcher, once again Lucas Giolito, to a 5.27 ERA and a 150 WHIP. I know the strikeouts and wins are there, but I mean, it's been tough to even like start him most weeks, and that's somebody you really thought was going to be an ace. So let's keep it going here. Who do we got up next?
um, we got the last pitcher on our list, and that's Mr. Kyle Gibson of the Phillies. He has a matchup on September 2nd, which would be tomorrow for you guys when you're listening to this. Damn, it's September already. Ah, football's back.
No, 2 days.
Yeah, buddy.
2 days. Today's. Oh yeah, when you're listening to it, it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, you're right.
hmm
You are correct, my friend.
Um, San Francisco is the matchup, which is a decent matchup
Yeah,
at San Francisco, which is a
good
better
park.
park than
Yeah,
pitching in City Field.
yes, sir.
And that, yeah, right. No, Citizen Bank Park. Sorry, I'm thinking Mets. Um, and I think it's actually a great matchup for him. He's been lights out over the last month. He has a 2.3 ERA over 31 innings, 3 wins, 30 Ks, 2.30 ERA with a 1.12 WHIP. How you doing? It's a great start. He's definitely somebody going to ride the wave. 49% on. That's Kyle Gibson. I think that with that matchup and the way Philly's been rolling, they're on the playoff hunt. They're really grooving, and I think there's something going on in that locker room. And this time of year, when locker room starts going and guys start getting excited to try and make that playoff push, something special usually pops out with one of these teams, and it could be them. I'm not saying it's just going to be him, but usually when the team's grooving, he's grooving. They got Bryce Harper back and all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the spirits in Philly is high.
Yeah, the thing with Kyle Gibson is he's definitely going to give you length. In almost all of his starts over the past 2 months here, he's gone 7 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 8 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings. There was a couple of starts there where he only went four, but I mean, out of all of those starts, it's very, very deep. He's gone into games. In two out of his last three games, he struck out nine and he struck out 11 in another one. Particularly in Kyle Gibson's last outing, he was very, very good against Pittsburgh. He got the win. He went 7 innings. Kyle Gibson struck out nine, didn't give up a run, and a one whip. So I mean, it's very, very good. And as Matt mentioned, that matchup against San Francisco is looking very, very enticing for Kyle Gibson, who is owned in 49% of leagues on Yahoo. Give him the shot. He might be the bottom of the barrel here out of everybody we've spoken about. But if you're in one of those deeper leagues and you need to stream somebody for this weekend, Kyle Gibson is out there, and his numbers on the year aren't putrid. Serviceable. 4.08 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, 139 innings, 114 Ks for Kyle Gibson, and 9 wins as well. So with that being said, we're going to push into our little closer segment here. One guy I just want to throw out there because he really doesn't really count for this, so we're just going to get him out of the way really quick, and that's Clay Holmes. He was just activated off the IL. He's 75% owned on Yahoo, so he might have been dropped in your league if you're lucky enough. He returned on August 29th, pitched a clean inning for the Yankees, struck out one. I think he kind of slides right back into the closer role with all the injuries, that the Yankees have piled up there, and in the bullpen there, it's been really bad. Chapman's gone down. Efros has gone down. Just pretty much anyone that had a chance at getting saves there has gone down. So I think Clay Holmes gets another shot at the closer's role. He's feeling healthy. He looks good. So if Clay Holmes is out there in your league, he's the number one ad here, but 75% owned. So he really doesn't count. With that being said, we got three other names here for you that aren't really great, but they're serviceable. Matt, do any of them stand out to you?
I'm gonna say AJ Puck. AJ Puck is just a great talent, and if he's getting the opportunity, said this a couple weeks ago, he's probably the one I trust the most out of this. I trust the talent, I trust the stuff. He's just an electric pitcher, and if he's given the job, I think he's gonna run away with it. But right now, I guess Oakland is just trying to figure out just how to not suck entirely, keep people in the stands, and but also how to just get a higher draft pick. I mean, they're just weird, a terrible organization. I think what they need to do is go back to the old Moneyball ideas. Like, if you're such a good GM, then why aren't you winning?
Yeah, fair enough. You're not wrong there, Matt. I will say this. Danny Jimenez got placed on the 60-day IL, and he was the other guy that Puck was kind of going back and forth with there. So I think it's Puck's job right now, and I don't see him losing it for the rest of the season. As Matt mentioned, Oakland isn't a very good baseball team right now. So, Puck might not have too many save opportunities, but when he does, he's been getting it done on the year. AJ Puck's numbers are 53 innings, 60 strikeouts, 3 wins, 4 saves, 2.53 ERA, and a 1.01 whip. AJ Puck is owned in 19% of Yahoo leagues, so he's widely available. It's 81% of leagues where he's out there. If you're hurting for saves, he might, besides Clay Holmes, he might be the number one guy here. I'm going to be honest with you. As far as statistics go, he's not going to hurt you in ERA and whip. He's a big strikeout guy. He wins games and he gets these saves. So you know what? I truly like AJ Puck's upside here. So next guy up, let's go with Rafael Montero from the Houston Astros. Ryan Presley is on the IL. I'm not sure what the word is on him when he's going to be back. But while he's out, Rafael Montero is the guy. He's got the last 3 saves here for is it the last 3? Hold on, bear with me, folks. I'm trying to see if somebody snuck in a save there the other day when they won 4-2 against Texas. Let's see. No, I don't. Oh, yeah, Hector Neris snuck in a save there. All right. So, but let's say Rafael Montero has 3 out of the last 4 saves here for Houston. Might have been a matchup thing there why they wanted to get Hector Neris instead of Montero. But I think Montero is the guy until Presley comes back. Rafael Montero has been great all season. 53 innings for him. 57 Ks, 9 saves, 4 wins, 2.68 ERA, and a 1.16 WHIP. If Ryan Presley's out for the foreseeable future, you kind of want to give Montero the shot. Houston's a very, very good ball club. They're going to win a lot of games. So, did I say he's 51% owned on Yahoo?
Yes.
If not, well, I'm repeating myself already. So that's it on Rafael Montero there, man, unless you want to add something in on him.
You're chilling. You want to take this last guy?
Yeah, let's go with Jimmy Hergert, of the Angels. He's getting saves there, we could say that. He's actually had a very, very good year there too. He's got the last 2 saves there for the Angels. Looks like they're moving away from Raisel Iglesias there, who's actually been bad. So for the year, Mr. Jimmy Hergert has 52 innings pitched, 50 Ks, 4 saves, 2 wins, 2.75 ERA, and a 0.92 WHIP. I mean, hey, the numbers look good. The Angels aren't a great ball club, but you know what? Mr. Jimmy, big time Timmy Jim, we'll give him Tim Lincecum's old nickname. He's looked good. He's getting it done. And Mr. Hergert's only 5% owned on Yahoo, so he's $3.99 in pretty much every single league right now. Definitely worth a shot if you need savers. Once again, Jimmy Hergert of the Los Angeles Angels.
Yep, I think it's a solid pickup. A save's a save, and as long as they're not murdering you, it's a W for you.
Yeah, fair enough. So, guys, with that being said, we're gonna wrap things up here for today. Once again, guys, if you've been enjoying the pod, if we helped you at all, we ask you just subscribe and wherever you listen to us, if you give us a little 5-star rating and review, it goes a long way as well. We're going to be here with you guys. We're going to ride it out for the rest of the season. We're going to give you all sorts of, news, information, players to add, and all that good stuff. So we'll be back with you guys on Monday. Until then, see you.
Peace. Dude,